Hey guys, how's it going? Kulprit here, and today we're going to continue our discussion on Battlefield 4 through the feedback and comments, things like that. You guys seem to be enjoying it. I know I enjoy talking about some new topics, even if it is just speculation. But hey, speculation is fun. That's kind of what YouTube's for. We like to talk about possibilities and things like that. I enjoy it. You guys seem to enjoy it. So if you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button. You won't miss a thing about Battlefield 4 because I'm going to cover it thoroughly leading up until release in the fall, and when we can actually get our hands on it, and then I'm going to be bringing videos about it then for sure. So one thing I want to talk about today is, as the reveal trailer got played out, I woke up the next morning and I was asking some trusted friends, some people whose opinions I value, what did you think? What did you think? And I heard this a lot, and then I went onto like Twitter and forums, and I kept seeing it repeated. A lot of people, and the funny part about it was I heard it from both sides. I heard it from the people who really liked the trailer and were excited by what they saw, and I heard it by a lot of people, and they were almost saying it as if it were a negative, and like they were hating on it, they weren't liking the trailer, and they were scared. And that was that the Battlefield 4, the trailer there reminded them a lot of Medal of Honor Warfighter. So, I mean, if you didn't like Warfighter and you thought it was a pile of garbage, like a lot of people did, that was really kind of scary to you, because you don't want any of that stink kind of coming over here onto your Battlefield 4 game. This is kind of the carrot at the end of the stick. You're really looking forward to this. You don't want to see that. You don't want to see that cross-contamination. But, there's a lot of guys out there that actually, that really enjoyed the Medal of Honor franchise at large, and they did enjoy Warfighter, but I think they recognized that the game had clear warts and lack of support. We're not going to get into that, but I think at the heart of Warfighter, it had a pretty good engine. Obviously, it was on Frostbite 2 engine. The gunplay was pretty good. I heard it got refined a little bit through some patches, the couple that it did get, or one that it did get, I don't even know. So that was much improved. So the core gunplay and things were good. Clearly what Medal of Honor Warfighter lacked was, maps. The maps I felt were the worst part of the entire game, some of the worst maps I've seen in a shooter in a long time. And it was just clear the lack of support, lack of time. But, the game as a whole wasn't terrible. So some guys seeing similarities in Medal of Honor Warfighter get excited. They like the game. They kind of, they wish the game had gotten support and been able to, have a lifespan. So seeing that in Battlefield 4, they get excited, seeing maybe some elements are going to come over. Now, obviously, other guys, like I said, that hated Warfighter are scared of this. Now, I don't know that, I don't really know that any kind of development or design concepts are going to come over, because DICE really had nothing to do with Medal of Honor Warfighter. They did do the multiplayer in Medal of Honor 2010, I think it was Medal of Honor 2010, correct me if I'm wrong. They did do the multiplayer there. They did a pretty bad job, honestly. So they didn't have anything to do with the newest iteration of Medal of Honor, which was Warfighter. That was handled completely by Danger Close. So both EA games, but I don't know that there was much intermingling. Now, shooter games, they always cherry pick concepts out of other games. I always talk about, and you hear other commentators talk about, some things that maybe a Call of Duty we wish that, Battlefield would incorporate. Some things out of Warfighter we've talked about. A lot of guys talk about Homefront and a lot of the things they had in their games that we're starting to now see, obviously, in COD and hopefully in Battlefield 3, things like this. So that's nothing new. They certainly may do that. But I think what you're seeing is just some bleed through from the engine, which is Frostbite 2. Now, as we all know, Battlefield 3 used the Frostbite 2 engine. It was kind of the unveiling of the engine, and they used, basically, for argument's sake, they used Frostbite 2.0. So then, as we know, Battlefield's on its way. It's going. It's at least what, a year old probably, and EA has used Frostbite 2 in various other games. There was some racing games and things like this. I don't know exactly, but we saw it used in quite a few different games. So the engine, along with Battlefield 3 itself, we're seeing continuous support. So where Battlefield 3 was on Frostbite 2, 6 months later, Frostbite might have been 2.3. That Need for Speed, I believe it was, might have had the Frostbite engine 2.3. And so by the time Medal of Honor Warfighter came around, you're seeing Frostbite 2.5. So now what you're identifying as maybe a Medal of Honor Warfighter characteristic is really just a characteristic of the engine, where Warfighter had a little bit more of an updated engine that we saw from Battlefield 3. It was still running on the original 2.0. So I think what you're seeing is just some similarities, some bleed through coming through that engine that some people are identifying as a Medal of Honor Warfighter feature or element or design style. I don't really buy that. I think it's just kind of they're built on the same engine. They look similar. And, Medal of Honor Warfighter had a little bit more of an updated engine at the time. Well, as we know now, we're going to get Frostbite 3, which I think is a little bit of a misnomer. I don't think it's Frostbite 3 at all. I think it's actually, just going to basically be what Frostbite 2 could really do. It's not going to be, you know, throttled back. There's going to be no governor on it. It's going to be able to just run in all its glory, hopefully. So, you know, semantics aside, I think basically what you're seeing is you saw an updated engine in Medal of Honor Warfighter, and some of the, you know, the things you're seeing that you saw in Medal of Honor Warfighter, yes, of course you're going to see in Battlefield 4 now, because it's using the most updated engine. So, for those of you that are scared by seeing elements of Medal of Honor Warfighter, settle down, simmer down. You're okay. I don't think we're going to see too much cross-pollination there. You know, if they had a good concept, I welcome it, but there's completely different development teams, you know, obviously owned by the same company, EA, but I don't think we have too much to worry about on that front. Now, if you're a guy that liked Medal of Honor Warfighter and you like some of the, you know, maybe animations and things, I think it's fair to say you can look forward to seeing some of those things in there. And if that makes you like the game more, then good for you, because, again, I think it's just going to be based on the engine that's using in the most updated engine. So there you go, guys. It's just something I wanted to quickly talk about. I've heard that mentioned a lot, and a lot of people kind of panic as soon as you put that, you know, Medal of Honor Warfighter next to Battlefield 4, but I don't think there's anything to worry about there. Let me know what you guys think. What did you see? Like, what exactly was it that you saw that maybe made you feel like there was similarities between the two games? And if it scared the heck out of you, why were you concerned? So, like always, guys, remember, hit the like button. It definitely helps me out if you enjoyed the video. And like always, I will talk to you soon. Have a great day.